JJ Nandra. Let's start with the Nokar mantra. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayaryanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamokaro, Sava Pava Panasano, Mandala Lancha Sarvesin, Paralam Have Mangala. The most precious thing in the world is time, right? So today I'm going to give you a very valuable gift. That is, I'm going to give you an hour to think about yourself and your future. And nobody is giving you a gift this valuable, but I give it to you twice or three times a year. And I'm always conflicted about, well, you guys are able to do this at home. You can, why do we want to spend time doing this here? But then I ask anybody if they've opened the book that week and nobody raises their hand. So I know you won't do this at home. So we're going to fill out our goal sheet here. And I'm going to give you an hour to do so. That's all that we're doing. We have nobody online, but I sent it to the group, this table. The pens are coming your way. And we're going to make sure our goals are SMART goals. Now, these aren't very long-term goals because we do this twice or three times a year. So these are your goals for the next 6 months, let's say. Okay? So I have 2 slots for each of 5 categories of goals, 6 categories of goals. Personal goals. So that would be something like losing weight. My little girl had learned how to tie shoes here. Next, professional goals, what you want to accomplish at work within the next 6 months. Next, spiritual goals, so something like meditation or mindfulness or saying Nokar mantra a certain amount of times each week. Next, physical goals. A lot of this is, I guess lose weight would be here. Kind of exercise would be here too. Going for a walk, things like that. Next, mental goals. That is how you want to accomplish goals to get your mind right. If you have reading goals, you can write them down here. And next, family goals. That is what you want to accomplish with your family. Perhaps you'd like to work on a project. Perhaps you'd like to plan a vacation. Perhaps you'd like to do something else. So think about the goals that you want. There are 6 times 2, 12. So if you fill it all out, that's too many. Okay, don't fill them all out. It's because we want you to accomplish this. I want you to be able to work on these. Okay, so if you fill out 3 or 4, that's probably enough, depending on which category you want. We want to make sure that our goals are SMART goals. That is, they're specific, measurable, achievable, resourced, and time-bound. Okay, so let's go through an easy example. Let's say your goal is to lose weight. Okay, all you're supposed to do here is write check marks in these columns, okay? Let's say your goal is to lose weight. Well, the problem is that's not specific enough. So that makes you change your goal. Your goal is to lose 10 pounds. Okay, see, that's a specific goal. Okay, make sure that your goal is measurable. If you write down lose weight, that's not measurable. Wait, it is measurable. If your goal was to be more happy, okay, that's a great goal. That's a goal that you should try to do, but that's not measurable. That means it's not a good goal for our chart. Okay? Make sure your goal is achievable. You can't lose 100 pounds, okay? So don't write that as a goal. You have to make sure that it's something within your grasp. Make sure that your goal is resourced. That is, make sure that you have everything you need to achieve your goal. That is, you're not missing any equipment, you're not missing any information, so if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, then make sure you have the right food in your house. Make sure you have the right recipes you're going to use. Make sure you have the resources you need to accomplish your goal. And make sure that it's time-bound. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, that's not enough. It has to be, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. Well, whoops, that's not achievable, okay? So now your goal is, I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. Well, that is achievable. Okay? So these all will all help you refine your goals.
So here in these columns, we just have to tick.
Yeah, that's right. Or for example, you can write a little note. For example, if for some reason you're not resourced, well, what resources do you need? If and under time bound, you can write the time. And this is hard, right? How many of you have thought about your life or your future in the last 6 months? We're kind of on a road, and we kind of continue down the road until some kind of change happens and we're forced to re-examine our life, right? So this is something that you should do, and this is something I'm making you do. Come on in. If anybody's pen doesn't work, I have some more. They're not all guaranteed to work. Thanks for everybody just joining us. For the people online, I sent our goal sheet to the WhatsApp group, and I'll post it online as well. We're devoting an hour to ourselves today to talk about our goals. So now, some of us have been doing this for a couple times, maybe 5 times, 6 times now. Do we have any success stories? Did this chart help anybody?
At work, it helps.
Yeah? You have a goal chart at work?
Yeah, like 6 months
Oh, great.
for the year.
And you didn't apply it to your life yet?
Try to, but there are more factors involved.
Right, of course.
Yeah, like you have a spouse, you have kids.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, if that's your personal one, this is what the family goal sheet looks like. I got this online. This is kind of fun. This is colorful and fun. This is, of course, basic. The family goals, if you care, the subjects are finances, relationships, health, service, celebrations, adventures and trips, home projects, and spiritual. So, if that stimulates your mind for your personal goals, then of course that is. I don't have enough of these for everybody. We just print this out at home, and we put them on the fridge. And so, hey, come on in. Can you make room?
Yeah.
We don't want to exclude anybody. Yeah, so that's another important thing too, right? After you're done filling this out, take a picture of it on your phone in case you lose it, and put it someplace you can see it. Otherwise, you'll forget about it, right? It's a good exercise to write it down, but it's better if you work towards it. And so, the bane of our family is unstructured free time. When the kids have unstructured free time, they go crazy. Okay? So this has helped us because I say, hey, you're not doing anything for about an hour. It's your time. And they don't know what to do. So I say, well, look at your goal sheet, look at the thing, and my little one is like, oh, I promised myself I would tie my shoes. So she goes to get the shoes, and she starts to practice tying them, right? Come on in. And so put this someplace you can see it. Put this someplace, on your fridge is the best place to put it. Or someplace you see it. Because it's your reminder. It's your physical manifestation of mindfulness that you should be working towards your goals. Any other success stories? And sometimes we're going to do this, and you're going to write the same things that you wrote last time. And that's okay. It's okay if you didn't make any progress. The thing you cannot do is you cannot beat yourself up over not meeting your goals. That's absolutely the wrong idea. Some of the goals I had on my sheet, I've had for years. And then I finally get around to doing it, or I finally prioritize it. But it's good because I remembered that. If I didn't keep on writing it down, I wouldn't have remembered it. And if I beat myself up for it, if I made myself feel guilty about it, I would stop doing this altogether, right? Because nobody wants to do something that's optional that brings them negative energy or puts them in a bad mood or makes them feel uncomfortable about themselves. So the one thing you cannot do is to beat yourself up for missing it. If it's your first time, you're probably going to miss all of them. Okay? So no problem about that. As long as you keep coming, I'm going to keep doing this. It's going to be something... How many times do you think we've done this so far?
I have a record of 6. So at least I have done with you 6 then.
Right. So I'm going to... If you don't hold yourself accountable, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm not going to follow up with you about your specific goals. You don't have to share them with me or the group if you don't want. But we're going to be doing this exercise twice or 3 times a year. Does anybody need a book?
Yeah, I need.
Okay. Yeah. Chintan was very good and he brought me all the books.
His personal book.
Thank you. That's one of my spiritual goals is to
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about when I say nobody opens the book. This is Jainism Philosophy and Practice 2, Jaina Education Series 401. And everything you need is in this book. And once you realize the truth is in this book, and the more you read this book, the better your life will be. You'll start to go through this book. You'll finish it in a couple days. Anybody else need a book?
Can I have it?
Sure.
So this is level 2 book, right? Is there a level 1 book available?
Yes, they are usually all online, and you can get them at janeelibrary.org.
Okay.
And also, for our kids, also online, you can always get soft copies of the previous books, and they're great. They're actually a lot better than this one, too. It's like the Jane Alphabet book, there's a calendar, there's a Jane Stories book. The books for children are really good. So if you want soft copies for your children, go to janeelibrary.org and you can download them for free. You can, if you give your email address, it's free to make an account, and you can download them for free. And it also has a lot of other stuff. What you need to do is you need to click on the tab that says English books, and then you'll see all of these there, because there's a lot of books in Hindi and Gujarati and things like that too.
Sometimes if the link is broken, just let the administrator know on the website and they'll fix it. That has happened in the past.
Oh, just throw them away, yeah. If they don't work here, give them to me, I'll throw them away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, Hardik here. Which book you are referring right now? I'm on the janeelibrary.org. Which book you are referring right now? So I can download soft copy.
Sure. If you search for JES 401, then you will find it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, got it.
Oh, you got it. Great. That's great. Okay, so some of you are still looking at me like I'm supposed to be talking, but I'm not going to be talking. This hour is all about you. I'm giving this gift to you, giving you an hour of your time back so you can think about your future and yourself. Your family's not going to bother you. They think you're here learning about Jainism. As I was printing these out, my kids are saying, "Hey, I want one," because they want one of whatever you have, right? So I gave it to them, and they started filling them out. And my 6-year-old wants to run a mile. I said, that might not be achievable, but she wants to try to run a mile. So that's good. That was right under her tie her shoelaces one. My 9-year-old wants to draw one thing every day for 10 days. So that's pretty good. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to think about your life. It's hard to think about how you want to improve your life. Hey, come on in. Great to see you. Because we're out of practice. We don't practice it a lot. We don't practice thinking about ourselves and how to improve ourselves. And so this is a good exercise if you're not used to thinking about your life and where you want to go and what direction you want to take it. What I've noticed is that if you're not controlling your life, then somebody else is controlling your life. That may be your family is controlling your life, your boss is controlling your life to further his or her goals, your work is controlling your life, your parents might be controlling your life to accomplish their goals, right? So if you're not accomplishing your goals, you're not in control of your life. Because there's no such thing that nobody's controlling your life. It's like a vacuum, right? If you're not controlling your life, somebody or something else is controlling your life. Perhaps it's addictions that are controlling your life. Perhaps it's, drink or drugs that are controlling your life. So this is one way that we're going to start taking control over our life. And it's hard. I remember when I started, it's hard to accomplish things that are not what we do every day. We go to work, we come home, we work on our stuff at home. We have maybe an hour to ourselves, if we're lucky, right? We have an hour to ourselves to accomplish our goals, and then we have to go to sleep and do it right back over again every day. And that's including the weekends, right? It's just, the weekends are just the balance is in favor of the home goals more than the work goals. That's it, right? And I remember how hard it is to accomplish things. It is extremely hard to accomplish anything. If you don't believe me, try it. What have you accomplished? Have you tried, have you started on that book you wanted to write? No, you haven't, right? Have you started on that certification you wanted at work? No, you haven't. It's been years since you've been thinking about that. You haven't done it. So this is how you do it. Anybody have any other success stories? A couple of us have been doing this chart for a little while. Did anybody cross anything off that they accomplished?
I did get my certification.
Oh, you did?
I did.
That's great.
Yes.
How long did it take you?
7 months.
7 months. Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And was it a goal that you wrote down?
Yes. That was right here.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Oh, you have it in your binder.
Yes. This is the one I get. I wrote it down in January, but then I didn't start anything until this January.
Right.
I got it in July.
That's great.
So actually 8 months almost.
So that's a tremendous success story, right? It took him a year and 7 months. It took him a year to start on the goal, and then it took him 7 months to accomplish the goal. Okay? So that's a great time. All right? So that's an amazing time to have been doing stuff like that.
The worst part is looking back, should have done in 2 months. Yeah. The effort actually took 2 months. It's
Right.
just the overall time took so long. Yeah, no, there's some other good stuff. I think, like you shared with the kids, there's some family goals that I had, which was really successful, which was there's a software called To Do. We talked about it in this class, I think, 2 years ago. Some of you guys may be using it, but that is a free Microsoft To Do software, To Do list. Very, very simple, user-friendly on the computer, on the sync with your mobile. So one of my family goals was to have this one rolled out to the kids too. I use this all the time in the office. And first, once kids have the phone, it's very easy for them to do it. And the best part is you can actually assign something to them, and they can actually how to do it, or they can actually have that in front of them. So my daughter started college last year, and she realized that this was one of the best investments she did, because she does everything on that, putting the reminders, giving you all the, as long as you put a lot of things in it, it gets you a lot of output. So that was also a success story of our class, which was 2 years ago, that I'm getting fruits right now for my daughter. So that was
Is
pretty
she
good.
assigning you now?
Very close,
Yeah.
but yes. As soon as she plans to come to Houston, I need this. So that's my job to not collect for her. You're absolutely right.
So you're getting her ready for work too, when her boss starts assigning her stuff to do, and she's like, "Well, got to do this."
That's right.
And that's another very good point. That is, you get out what you put in, right? So, like Bobby mentioned, you have to really commit to doing it and put a lot of the stuff in, and let your phone tell you what to do when it pops up. So if you put in a lot, then you'll get out a lot. You'll get out of results. And that's how this works too, right? The
That's how
more
all the software works, right? That is what it is.
Right.
Collect the information and then it gives you all the outputs.
right. So if you take this seriously, then you will receive the fruits, right? But if you don't, if you kind of just write it down and say, oh, yeah, we didn't do anything in Dad's class today, then it won't work for you.
Can it be a shared goal? Sorry. So like for Sandeep and myself, we can put a goal in the spiritual to complete the art project.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But you guys have to. Just want to make sure.
No, we will.
It's on your to-do.
That's what the time count comes in,
absolutely.
right?
Specific, time specific.
Yeah, well, talking about the art project, okay, so is it specific? I think so. Is it measurable? Yes, if we get it up or not. Is it achievable? It's something we can achieve. Is it resourced? We have the resources. Is it time bound? We got to get it done by this year. Okay, so we got to get it done by December 31st for our art project. Do we have an update? Mihir is not here. Does we have? Oh, give us our fundraising update.
Yeah, so thanks to everyone in this group, we have collected so far $521, and I just handed over to Sandeep. So it is now so our fundraising activity is formally coming to an end now. So we will close it and we have handed over to procurement team. Now they can go ahead and start the procurement process.
Great. So our budget is 520. Has procurement talked to approval yet? To know kind of where we want to put it, what size?
There have been some ideas that have been bounced around, but I think that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, no update as of yet. As we didn't get any formal. I think Nick is obviously
Right.
out.
Right.
But yeah, we have to find out. Maybe we can talk to someone from.
I'll work with on that. I'll work with Nick and others. Start that process. Yeah.
Great. So it looks like things are on track. Does anybody have any suggestions for the chart? To make the chart work better for you? You want to change the categories? You want to change the number in each category?
I think it makes it more achievable if you share it with somebody that you can trust, that you feel comfortable with, because it's when other people hold you accountable for your stuff, things get done
Right.
faster than when you yourself are trying to push yourself to it.
Right. So certainly different things work for different people, and if it motivates you to accomplish your goals by sharing it, I recommend you do that. You can share it with me, you can share it with the group, you can share it with any one of us. We're all here for you. And if you want us to check up on you, then let me know. And if that's some kind of service that I can provide for you, then let me know. If you want me to say, hey, give me a reminder every 2 months and say, do you have your sheet? Are you working on your sheet? Where's your sheet? Is it in the trash? If you want me to do that, I am happy to do that for you. I'm interested in you accomplishing your goals, and I'm here to help you do that.
Oh, so one of the ideas I have is I don't mind working with someone. If someone wants to pair with me, we can periodically check. So I'm open to sharing my goals.
I can walk you through. That would be great.
Should we make a new group? The answer to everything in this class is making a new group. Do you want to make a new accountability group? No? Okay.
Just keep it between the two. Too many WhatsApp groups.
See, one thing I do realize that these are great short-term goals, or at least something to work towards, and everybody has their own day-to-day list to accomplish. How do you break down your long-term into the short-term, and how do you make that short-term into this goal, and then you break this down further into your day-to-day? That is the toughest one. I have this goal. How do I break it down into my day-to-day activity? Because every day you have the goals, your chores, this and that.
And these
And
long-term
also-
activities, long-term goals needs actually everyday some
Mhm.
input to it.
Right.
So,
So I still call this as a little short-term goals. I'm not going to be done in like 2 days, right? So you do have another list going, which is your to-do going every day, day-to-day life. How do you make sure that your goal makes it to your wife's to-do list? So make sure you continue working on that one as well. Because
Right.
that's the toughest part.
And so it's easy to say, well, break it up into smaller chunks that you can do that time, but it's very hard to think about,
Right.
especially based on the type of goal. So if the goal is like lose weight, well, how do you break it up into smaller chunks? You got to work on it that day. You got to do the exercise that day, and then you got to remember it each day. And so that is actually the number one problem, right? Is turning even a medium term goal into something you can do that day and that you have time to do that day and that it works with your schedule to do that day, right? You may not have, maybe you have a spare half hour to work towards your goal that day, and you see your goal is like paint a picture, you know, like what can you do in half an hour? Then you get defeated, right? Like what can I do and how can I accomplish that? How can I break it up into smaller chunks? What can I do to it? Doesn't seem like you can do anything, right? But the trick is that we underestimate what we can do when we do a little bit each day. So if your goal is to, have a painting, well, you can use the half an hour to just go online and see what canvases you need. And that's it, that takes up your whole half an hour. But then the next time you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, I put that in my cart, I'm gonna buy it, okay? And that's another 15 minutes, right? And then the next time you look at it, you're like, oh, it's here, I'm gonna set it up. And that takes you 10 minutes, right? So that's just that might take you 3 weeks to do that, right? Every time you look at this paper. But guess what? If I had told you before that it'll only take you 3 weeks to get started, you'd been like, that's great. What happened? 3 weeks? That's great. That's great timing. So that is definitely the number one thing about this chart is that I don't have enough spaces for you to break it up into really, really small chunks that are actionable every day. That's something that you have to do. And that's something that I can't do for you.
I like the to-do app. I'm not aware.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, that app is really good.
Does anybody have a goal they want to share?
Which one? Personal, professional?
And any that you want to share. You wanted accountability, right? So would you like to share with the group?
Sure. So on the spiritual goals, so I'll read 10 minutes every day.
That's great.
For the
Are you going to read the book? What are you going to read?
This
Oh,
book.
that's great.
I have
Perfect.
its resource, right? So I have a
Yeah.
resource now, so.
Yeah, that's great. And what you want to do is you don't want to read it front to back. You want to read what you're interested in the most because that will keep you motivated. So read what you're interested in the most, and then the next day, what are you next interested in the most? Then read it like that because it's not like a storybook. You don't have to read it front to back. So just look at the table of contents and figure out where you want to start.
So, like he mentioned reading and also I watch a lot of positive stuff and also the read, but I never get time to implement it or think about it.
Right.
So I have put every day put 15 to 20 minutes to introspect and think about it. So you know what you're doing whole day.
So your goal is to make more goals. Perfect. I love that. Your goal is to give yourself enough time to make more goals. I like that because that's what the issue is, right? This is very personal to everybody's situation, and you have to make time for yourself. And if you need permission to make time for yourself, I give you permission to take 1 hour a day only for yourself. 1 hour a day, not for your family. 1 hour a day, not for your children. 1 hour a day, not for your wife. 1 hour a day for you and your goals. Whether you want to exercise, whether you want to read, whether you want to introspect and figure out how you can change your life. I give you that much. And you might think that's a lot, and it is a lot, right? But the object of your life is to get to moksha. And we need to figure out how to do it without having all of these distractions in the way. Because if you don't even use an hour of your day to try to accomplish your goals, then your whole life is a perpetual exercise in distraction. And is that how you want to live your life? Maybe your goal isn't to get to moksha. Maybe your goal is to do one of the things on here. Well, once you start on it, and once you kind of get in a habit of working towards your goal, then you'll realize how much time you've been wasting. It's like when you become a parent, right? I can try to tell people that just got married, how much time they're wasting, but that won't do anything. You wouldn't have done anything if somebody tried to tell me how much time I was wasting before I had kids. But once you have kids, you know how much time you wasted. Because you know how much you can get done while the baby's sleeping. For the 2 hours while the baby's sleeping, you can get your whole day's worth of work done. Where when you were single or when you were just married, that would have taken you 2 days to accomplish that same stuff, right? So I can tell you till I'm blue in the face how much time you're wasted and how distracted you are every day, 24/7, and how you're working towards other people's goals rather than your own goal. But until you start seeing it for yourself, you won't believe me. You won't believe me. You're like, no, Thimmer, you're wrong. I accomplish my goals every day. I'm a good person. I pay my taxes. I take care of my family. I'm living a good life. No, you're not. I'm the only one challenging you to be better because I know what you're capable of and I know how distracted you are and how much you're not working towards your goals right now.
Yeah, that's so true. Our life passes in daily just activities and exactly I pay tax, I'm living nice life, that's it. Nothing towards the
right. But are you in control of your life? Are you working towards your goal? Have you even thought about what you want from your life? That is what we call an examined life. So you may have heard that, especially in Western thought, it's called living an examined life. That's exactly what we're talking about today. Being in control of your life, thinking about what you want, and moving in the direction of what you want. And sometimes the hardest thing is figuring out what you want. Because now that I've given you this opportunity and we're still here for another 30 minutes and nobody's writing anything down, what do you want? What do I want? I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me that before. People just tell me what they want and I give it to them. My kids tell me they want food. My wife tells me she wants a car. My parents tell me they want someplace to live and I give it to them. What do I want?
And actually, we feel guilty also. I feel like we also do not think much about us, what we want. We feel like as far as we are fulfilling our dear ones' requirement, we are doing good.
Right.
So that's so true actually.
And that's a big problem. Taking time for yourself is not a bad thing. It is if you do it too much, but nobody's here is doing it too much. We're doing it not enough. So the advice I would give differs based on the person, but guess what? All of us are the same person. We are very selfless people. We don't take enough time for ourselves. But here's what I guarantee. Once you start taking time for yourself, you're going to be a little happier because you're in control of your life. You're working towards your goal. Guess what? If you're happier, you'll be a better husband. You'll be a better father. You'll be better at work because you can... Now that you know you're giving yourself an hour in the evening every day, at work you can concentrate on work. And you'll be better at work. You'll be better at home. You'll be better at everything you want to be. Better at the so-called things that we're being selfless for. We're being better at being selfless by taking a little time for ourselves.
And we also, I feel like I myself will consider like sitting idle as a lonely, or I feel like wasting time, what am I doing? But that ideal time is actually not the loneliness, but it is you to you. You are talking to yourself and that time is needed, I feel.
Right.
I have two mental goals I can share.
Sure.
So one is meditate for 5 minutes 3 times a week. I guess it makes all the smart characteristics, and then the second one is reduce iPhone screen time.
Great.
So I guess you do get a graph on the phone itself, and goal is even if it's reduction of 3-5 minutes, whatever it ought to be less and less each week.
Okay, so the goals are to meditate for 5 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and to reduce spending time on the phone. So can you take your phone out right now? And can you go to the settings? And can you make sure that it's giving you a reminder of your screen time? Can you go to the settings and make sure that it's emailing you like what your daily, maybe you want it daily, maybe you want it weekly, of what your usage is? And can you go and figure out if there's a way to limit the apps, the time you spend on the apps, or send a reminder? And do it now. We have 25 minutes left. So I'll just take Facebook as an example, all right? So there is some way to make sure that it sends you a ding, or it even locks you out if you use Facebook for over an hour a day, okay? So it's hard to find these things on your phone. It's very hard to go in the settings and figure it out and find it. So great, I see a lot of people are doing the same thing. I was talking to Chintan, but everybody took their phones out, so that's great. It looks like we all have similar problems. And do that, and that will help you.
Is there such setting in the Android phone?
Yes, yes, there will be. And if you can't find it in your phone, just Google it first, and then don't try to wade through all the settings first. Just Google it first and see if you can set limits on particular apps. And if you don't feel comfortable locking you out of the app for that day, just set a reminder. Just be like, oh, wow. And how often are you getting it? Like, wow, I didn't know I was hitting the hour on Facebook, 3 times a week. That could be my hour that I have at home to myself. That's great. Thank you for sharing, Chintan.
I also want to share special goals. I want to do the sutras, and my achievable will be able to do the Chaityavandan, and then I will also try to do the Samay.
Oh God.
Okay, so give me a time for each one. The goal is to do sutras, Chaityavandan, and Samay. So they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're resourced. Do you have the books you need?
Books, I have a book, so I will try to do from the book.
And you know Samay?
Okay.
Samay cannot.
Actually, I had this goal from last 3 years. Samay. I'm not able to achieve.
Okay, so when do you want to accomplish them by? That's all we need. We need a time
I
limit.
think within 3 months.
Okay, Chaityavandan within 3 months.
It's a good goal.
And how about to do Samay regularly?
Samay after this.
After
I will
that?
work on the Chaityavandan.
Okay.
After Samay.
Okay, great. That's perfect. So Chaityavandan within 3 months is specific, measurable, achievable, resourced, and time bound. Great.
And the mental goal, so I will do the meditation 5 minutes daily.
Great. Meditation 5 minutes daily. So here's what I want you to do. When are you going to do it? In the morning or the evening?
Sometime morning, sometime evening.
No, it can't be that. It's got to be consistent. It can't be sometime in the morning, because then what will happen is you'll be in a rush in the morning and you say, I'll do it in the evening. And then you won't do it in the evening. So you got to pick a time.
So morning.
Morning? Okay, so I want you to take out your phone and set an alarm for every day at the time you want to do meditation.
I don't know about when you have an Android phone, but iPhone has all these meditation thing that pops up. Like
Right.
When you take a moment, take 2 minutes to breathing exercise, meditation and stuff. That's initially I found it helpful.
Oh, that's great. And so, yeah, if you have a meditation app, that will do it as well. That will notify you if you set it like, hey, it's time to meditate, here's where you left off, and then you just push one button and you're right there. I really enjoyed the Headspace app for those of you whose goals are meditation. It's got a free version, and so you can try it out, see if you like it, see if you like the guy's voice. He's got like an English accent. There's another one called Calm. I don't like that as much, but it's got a woman's voice, so maybe you like that for meditation purposes. There's one called Waking Up. That's by Sam Harris. That has lessons and he has a lot of meditations. And interestingly, that one has meditation for kids. Okay, so that's the only time that I saw that. There is actually one on Headspace too. Recently they put out a meditation for kids. But if it's something you want to try with your kids or you want to do with your family, there is meditation for kids now, and to let them know what it's all about. There is, of course, books for it too. Did you set your alarm?
Yeah.
Great. Perfect. Every day?
Yeah.
Do you want to do weekends or just weekdays? Because weekends the schedule is different. Maybe you want to sleep in.
I done for every day.
Every day?
Okay.
Has anybody run into problems thinking about what they want? Has anybody run into that issue where I don't know what my goals are? Or do we all have things we've been wanting to do for forever and we wrote them down on the sheet?
So is it like once we settle down, like once we like achieve our materialistic goals, do you think so after that we would start thinking about real goals which actually would make us happy or calm and all? Do you think so? Like, because we all have so much materialistic goals, I don't know, this goals, the personal goals comes after that. So how do we actually balance it out? Because we have every 5 years we want something, right? So those are our materialistic goals, but we get so much busy with that all this we just have to balance it out, right?
Right. So, does anybody have any helpful words? For the question is, how do we balance our goals, especially our material goals, with our spiritual goals? That is, we have certain things we want to accomplish in this life, and then we have that here, professional goals, for example. And then, the purpose of life is to go to moksha. So how do we balance that?
Because if you see that my daughter is so busy with the homework and all, and same way we also lead the same life, that study this, that, and by the time we start job like at 27, and then we have a target till 45, settle down everything and this and that. So till 45, I think we don't even think about all those things. So
right.
So I think the question you ask is, should we start spiritual journey towards spiritual goal after we fulfill our materialistic goal? That's what the question is. I'll tell you my personal experience. Whenever I was going to Upasray or temple, at least Upasray, where the Vyakhyan were given, I see always old people.
exactly.
I don't see young generation, or even in our age like 40, 45 people, I don't see there. And then I was thinking, why people are not coming for these? And one reason I found, yes, we all at this age, we are all behind our materialistic goals and to fulfill our materialistic needs. But then I decided myself when I was in India that I go to my Guruji every week wherever he is in Mumbai. So during the non-Chaturmas time, they are in different places. So I used to make sure that I go for his darshan every Sunday. And when I used to go, yes, I used to find, okay, around me there are only old people, above 65, 70, 80.
Exactly.
But then I said, I should not get distracted with that. I should not worry all our others. So I feel that yes, we can start our spiritual journey anytime. We don't have to wait for our materialistic goal to get satisfied. But yes, but we need to be on that track. We should not get distracted. Sometimes we feel, oh, I am the only person of this age here. Everybody are very old, who are retired people only doing this. And this is something, the problem with the way our Jainism and things are being followed. If I am here, when I'm here in Houston, I go to Swaminarayan temple also, and I see lot of young crowd coming there. Maybe because the way they drive things, that's why they are able to attract young crowd. Maybe in our Jainism we are not able to attract Jain crowd that much. Now you see here in this class, there are hardly 15, 20 people. But if you go to similar things in other religion, somehow they are able to attract so many people. So to answer to your question, yes, spiritual journey can be started anytime. You don't have to wait for, if you wait for materialistic goals to get over, I think it will never start.
But doing more spiritual activities and learning about Jainism, do you think so our passion about achieving this stuff calms down?
Certainly. I mean, the
it
more
is
you learn
because-
about Jainism, the more you realize that money is an illusion and that it can't buy you happiness. Then the more you will temper those materialistic goals. I do agree. I think that it is very dangerous to put off spiritual goals and say, I'll do it later, along with everybody else who you see have evidence of only old people are working toward their spiritual goals because they've achieved or maybe not achieved their materialistic goal. I think that's very dangerous because you could get out of the habit. And then once you reach that age, you're not worried about spiritual things anymore. That is, you've strayed completely off the path and you forgot about the purpose of life. Right? So I think that is very dangerous. So I do agree that you should work on your spiritual goals now. That should be your priority. And that will help you temper the materialistic goals.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I think I like the analogy from last week or a couple of weeks before. Make it baby steps towards spiritual goals. And it's all about, when you're looking at it, it's not like you directly have to go to Z. You have to start from A, B, and go to there. So, like the example of one push-up a day, right? So, same thing, and like Amish mentioned, Indian mentioned about the habit. It's like coming to temple every week. That's it. I'll just be doing that, bringing my kids. Whether they learn, don't learn right now, that's fine. But I think it sticks with them, And that's a testimony to all the parents who are here. They bring all the kids from young age to old age. And I've heard from a lot of senior school parents too, that they're very thankful that they get that. Like, it's okay, they don't learn, that's fine. I mean, I'll be honest, my kids don't get like 30 in the Jainism exam, that's fine. But they come here every day.
Yeah, that's nice.
See, the story of Valmiki. He was a demon Valya, and he started calling Mara, 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 Mara. And eventually he realized that he is now chanting Ram, 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 Ram. So, yeah, you, as he said, just make a habit. Whether you feel to, when you come to temple or Upasana, whether you really get into that feeling or not, don't care about it. Physically, you just be there. Even if you be there, your mind will be somewhere else. Fine, let it go somewhere else. But at least you will do a first step of going to temple. Physically you will be there, mentally you may not be there. But if you do it 20 times, maybe 21st times, mentally also you will be present. That way at least you can start.
I'll just add one more things to that. If you look at your book for, I think it's in chapter 17. So there is it's a karma theory. One of the karma theories is the Jnana Varniya karma. Jnana Varniya karma meaning the knowledge obscuring. So if you just think about it, not everybody get to that level when you have this karma bondage to your soul, and when that karma is completely burned up, or not completely, let's start burning up, you will be getting more and more overview or more and more exposure to the Jainisms or whatever it is, right? So the realization of I should do more is an indicator in my mind that we are burning off more and more jnana of clean karma, the jnana burning karma. So to me, things drive with a lot of. So this particular chapter really interests me all the time. I go back to this chapter all the time because the different types of karma theory, when you look at it, it's very logical. It's very, very logical if you look at it. What is the perception of curing karma? Like darshaniya karma, why it bonds to our soul and why it burns it off. And once it burns it off, what it does to you. So when things comes to you, that means something has happened to our balance sheet of karma, and then you will go in that path more.
Bhavin, if I may, whenever you're comfortable in the next few weeks, we can go over the chapter together.
Absolutely.
In the class.
Yeah. I can talk about whatever I like on that chapter, and we can go over that. Sure.
Questions or comments about anything we talked about today? Okay, everybody take your phone out and take a picture of your goal sheet. Just so in case you lose it, then you have it. If you're really committed, then make it the background of your phone. That way you'll look at it multiple times a day and you'll realize that you need to be working towards your goals.
That's awesome. By any chance, does anyone know how I can attend a course, 7 Habits of Stephen Covey? I had attended that course through my company a couple of years ago, but I forgot it, and I want it to attend again. That's it's like 1 week or 2 weeks course, and I want actually to attend it for my family also. I want to enroll my kids for that course. So does anyone has any idea about it? Either in US or in India? If somebody's
he wants to know how to attend a course based on Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yeah, highly effective people. Yeah, 7 habits. Because they conduct it for an organization, corporate, but I don't know whether they conduct it outside corporate world. Because I found that course where, and I think this SMART goals were part of that.
Oh, okay. Well. Great.
So, and I would highly recommend, I don't know whether anyone has here gone through that course. It's really amazing. It will teach you how to live your life, not just, though it is being conducted in the corporate world, but whenever I attended it, I could relate it more to my personal life.
I have read the book. I can vouch that the book is very good. So if you're not able to attend a course, I think the book, at one time it was free for Amazon Prime Reading, but it's available widely everywhere. So,
but if you go for the course, there are a lot of exercise that they make you do, and that becomes very, very useful.
I think there's a lot of training places. I was fortunate at what really training I led to each super. I guess it's a different perspective on how to look at things that we look at every day. You know, it's very well known for the picture of the rich, which is a picture in the book. I just put a link on the chat for the website.
great. So there's a link on the group, and we have another recommendation. Other questions or comments about anything we talked about today? Well, thank you so much for your time this week. I hope that it was a good exercise for me to give that time back to you, And no dad's class next week. There's a general body meeting, so I'll see you in the main hall next week.